So I'm going to throw that on record. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to walk through this little bit of a PowerPoint, nothing too crazy. Shoot. Oh, sorry. I need to open it back up one more time. Give me 2 seconds. All right, hopefully that'll work. From beginning. All right, cool. So first and foremost, I want to make sure that I thank our coaches. As you all can imagine, this year has been a year like none other, and our coaches have been working really, really hard to provide, our similar athletic experiences in COVID. So if any of our coaches are on tonight, or when you do get an opportunity to meet them tonight, please make sure that you thank them and you show them their appreciation. They work extremely hard at South County. We have an amazing sports program, very successful, and we wouldn't be anywhere as successful if we didn't have great coaches. So, make sure that you show them their appreciation. I certainly do. I know they get paid very little money and spend an amazing amount of time with all of your kids. So, make sure that you show them some love. And again, I did post the link to the breakout rooms at 6:30 in the chat. If you don't have it from the email this morning, and I'll send it at the end as well. So a quick little introduction. I know I don't have all my office mates in this picture, but we have a large team at South County, and we all kind of have different roles. Of course, I'm a DSA. My right-hand woman is Miss Angela Bayshore. She is our former field hockey coach. This is her first year as an ADSA. She does a lot of the scheduling. She does transportation. She does camps, fundraising, are some of her bigger responsibilities in the office. Tynan Rolander, who's also our football coach, also does work for the office. He does a lot of our maintenance, takes care of the facility, which is a very, very large job. And as I'm sure all of you guys have known and have been at the facility, we have an amazing facility, and it takes a tremendous amount of time and collective effort to keep it, as probably the best playing facility in Fairfax County. So he leads a lot of the outdoor stuff. Mary DeCanter, who's in the picture, is our office administrative assistant. She handles a lot of eligibility, physicals. She does a lot of everything, to be honest. She manages the websites, our schedules, and so forth. Two really important people that aren't here tonight is Rachel Herbert and Erica Nagy. They're our athletic trainers. They'll both be back next year, which is awesome. And they put a ton of hours in with our kids. We've got lacrosse going on tonight, so that's why a lot of them are joining me. I'm actually heading there after this meeting. And then Terry Smith is our ticket manager, and she will be communicating about our electronic ticket systems that we implemented this past year, and some of our gates and how to get into games and passes and so forth. So if you see any of those people, if you know them, say what's up. They're great. We got a great team, a great group, and excited for our continued success at South County. So for fall tryouts, the golf date typically starts earlier than the rest of the fall sports, and that's because golf typically only practices Monday through Thursday, and their season is much shorter because we do get borrowed time from public golf courses. Our home course is Laurel Hill, which is across the street. We're really blessed to be there. It's one of the nicest public courses in the area. And in fact, I just was talking to Coach Terrian today, and I think he's going to address those that are interested in golf this afternoon. But it's looking like that he's going to join the August 2nd start date. So we might not be starting golf those 2 days earlier, which is a Thursday, Friday. It's actually hard to get tee times on the Friday. So I think he's just going to start on Monday. The rest of our sports will start that August 2nd, Monday: football, dance, cheerleading, field hockey, cross country, and volleyball. At some point in the summer, we're collecting all the start times of the first tryout days and the locations. That will be up on the website on the main page. If you go to stallionnation.com, it'll be front and center. It'll say the times and the tryout and the tryout locations for all those sports. But you can expect that they're all probably going to, the first practice is going to be sometime in the morning, August 2nd, that Monday, probably around 8 to 9 o'clock for most of the sports. But we're collecting that information from the coaches right now, and I will certainly return that information back out to this group once I have all of the times and tryout locations. So this is probably the most critical part of the presentation, and this is really, really important. There's two things that your children need, or students, if you're on here, in order to try out. You must have a physical on file. The VHSL and actually the state of Virginia, since we've kind of made it through a lot of the COVID stuff, they've actually adapted the old physical form, and the 2021 form is now available. Most doctors' offices have received an email about needing that form, but I can't guarantee you that every single one does. That's why if you go out to the tryout information on the website, I encourage you to bring the form with you, because it needs to be on the right form. It has to have the COVID information on it. That form is posted on the website. You could also go to vhsl.org, which is the membership body of high school athletics. You can find the form on there. You can email us. Rachel Herbert, our athletic trainer, and Mr. Cantor lead kind of tackling our physicals. So if you do get your physical, there's a couple different ways. You can email it to us, which we prefer email because there's a bunch of things that we have to check to make sure that are all in the physical. So if it doesn't have a piece, we can just simply email you back and say, hey, you might need to get a signature on page 4. We will have some office hour times over the summer for our students and our parents to drop off the physical at the main office. And then the other thing that you can do is give them to the head coaches of the programs, and we have a system for them to turn them into us. But all of our coaches get a compliance list of all of the students that are planning to try out that have turned in their physicals. And unfortunately, this is a non-negotiable. If the physical is not turned in, your child cannot participate. The second piece that's really important is you have to register your child to try out. This can be done online. It's all electronic. There's no other documents associated with it other than just registering online. You can see down here at the bottom, if you go to our stallionation.com website, right at the top, it says 2021 tryout registration. It's also another link that's on the left side of the website. You can't miss it. You can actually register your child one time for any of the sports that they want to try out. So if they're interested in participating in football, but then they want to play basketball and they might want to do outdoor track in the spring, you can actually annotate that on that registration so that we have that information. And so those are the two things that our coaches will be checking for every child that comes out for tryouts. And again, they're non-negotiables. We've done away with most of our paper documents except for the physical. The other ones are all done electronically. At the activity registration site, you'll turn in an emergency care card, you'll take your concussion education test, you'll do your transportation release form. It's all a one-stop shop, and it's really nice for us. So again, that's really accessible. It's on the stallionation.com website, and you can just click to register your student. A really important thing, speaking of physicals, is we do offer, and we're one of the few schools that offer an annual physical night. So this means that it's a $50 fee. It's our number one fundraiser for our athletic trainers and for all the supplies that they buy for the students throughout the year. So even if you do have a primary care doctor and you know that you're going to get a physical, you might consider going to our annual physical night, because it does help supply all the ice, bandages. The athletic training offices are not centrally funded, unfortunately, so we have to do all of our fundraising locally. So this is a huge night, but basically we'll be at West Springfield. I sent out information regarding on how to sign up earlier today. And once you get your physical done there, we have doctors that come out and they support the physical nights. We have your physical on file. That's all you need. You don't have to turn anything else in, and your son or daughter will be good for tryouts. So I did send out this presentation. I did not include this slide because I just got this information at 12 o'clock, but I do think I sent it out to the email group that I had around 12 o'clock today. So again, I hope you'll join the effort. Again, the money goes to a great cause, and it helps support all of the care that we give your children throughout the school year. This is just an FAQ for the activity registration. It's just the frequently asked questions that we receive. So this is I just wanted to include this as a part of the presentation so that you had it in case these questions did come up. You could reference this as you were filling out the activity registration. I see just really quick, two quick questions in the chat. When is the physical due? The physical is due the day of tryout. So if you do not have the the physical turned in, you cannot try out. So you must have it in order to participate in tryouts. So that would be August 2nd for, I believe it's going to be all of our sports are going to start August 2nd. No. So another question was, can our doctor fill out our physical based on the February 2021 visit? Unfortunately, no. All the physicals have to be filled out, and the visits have to be after May 1st, 2021. And keep the questions coming. I've got the chat up now, and I'll try to keep up with them. So tryouts, each of our coaches are going to explain a little bit about their tryout process. Not all of our sports make cuts, but some do, and a lot of it is because we just don't have the capacity to hold large teams. I do think at South County, we have a philosophy of we want to keep people as teams as big as possible. We value inclusion, and we want people to participate in our athletic programs, but sometimes it's inevitable, and there are cuts. So every student is given 3 days, a 3-day tryout period. Coaches will put out in advance what the expectations are for tryouts. So they usually will have some type of matrix or rubric for the skills that they're looking for. And again, cuts might happen the third or fourth or fifth day of tryouts, depending on how long it takes for them to make their decisions and how much they need to see. The frequently asked question I get is what to bring to tryouts. If you have your forms turned in, all you need to do is have water. We will supply water at all of our different tryout locations, but it's also good to have your own bottle, especially with COVID. And we've been encouraged to not use cups as frequently, so we just use cups for gameplay or for games. So a water bottle is great, athletic attire, and of course the athletic equipment for that specific sport. I got a question, are physicals required for summer workouts? Yes. So any athlete that's participating in our workouts should have a physical on file. Of course, this is for your safety and your child safety. Should something happen, we know how to respond to them, and we know their needs up front. So yes, you do need to have a physical turned in before you can start the activity with our programs. What if you're out of town for tryouts is a great question. And I know that sometimes happens. I'd ask that you start communicating now with a coach. And let them know in advance that we need to schedule a 3-day tryout period when you return. I will say it gets harder the longer you are out. So let's say it's August 2nd. If you're out for 2 weeks and you can't return until mid-August, that can be really difficult because if you're participating in a sport where there's cuts, a coach might have only 22 slots, and it's really hard to keep someone. And then with the expectation someone's going to return in 2 weeks and try out and potentially take their spot. So I understand that vacations happen. We do our best to try to work within the vacations of the families, but please know that they're not easy especially for programs that make cuts. But we do try to accommodate. Our coaches are pretty flexible, but we do need to know this information in advance. It's not helpful to mid-August that you say to make tryouts and likely the team. I hope that answered your question. Eligibility, this is not super important for freshman students because as a freshman, all students are automatically eligible to start the fall of their freshman year. But as you move into the second semester of your freshman year, you are held to the eligibility standard at the VHSL level, which is called Take 5 and Pass 5. So every student athlete must be taking 5 classes, which is typically no problem for freshmen, but then they must be passing 5 classes. So in our winter seasons, which is like basketball, wrestling, gymnastics, I actually evaluate eligibility halfway through the season. So the end of the second quarter, I look at first semester grades, and if a student is failing 3 or more classes, they're actually ineligible to continue participating for the rest of that winter season. And then they'd be actually ineligible for the spring season. So we work in semester blocks. So as a fall season, everyone is eligible, but it gets a little bit tricky come the winter and then certainly the spring, and every student must be passing 5 classes. But I hope that's not an issue for anybody, because conversations will probably be had much prior to me making a decision that you're ineligible if you are. We do monitor academics. We also do monitor attendance. And those are things that our coaches, we pride ourselves on at South County, and we work with our students on to make sure that we're student athletes and we're students first, then athletes. And then, of course, eligibility. There's lots of information that can be found at vhsl.org. The VHSL is our governing body, and we follow the rules and regulations that they set forth. And so there's lots of information on their website about eligibility. So feel free to check it out. You can get lost in it. It's a wealth of information, but certainly worth looking at if you're planning on having a 4-year career. There's lots of different things to learn at the VHSL website. The last real nuts and bolts thing that I have for all of you is I would encourage any parents who are on this meeting tonight to really step up and be a part of our booster club. Our club is right now we have about 15 or so routine parents that meet with me on a monthly basis, and we talk about different ways that we can raise money and how we can help contribute to the athletic program. I've learned that running a program at such as South County with such high expectations and such quality sports, it takes a village. We have all kinds of opportunities to get involved in our golf tournament annual fundraiser, to help with the concession stand, to get involved in sponsorships. Sponsorships are one of our biggest fundraising opportunities. Spirit wear. There's so much to get involved with. We look for all types of people, all kinds of skill sets. We have an amazing group of parents, but they do a lot of work for a lot of people, and we definitely need more. We definitely need some help from the incoming freshmen. So if you're interested in being part of a club, again, the demand is not high. We meet monthly. We actually are meeting tomorrow night. So if you want to just come in and sit on our meeting, it's just a virtual meeting at 6 p.m. and we're discussing a few things as we prepare for next year. But we love to get new parent volunteers. Again, our programs cannot run without parent volunteerism. The Booster Club raises annually about $100,000 for our programs, and our budget is typically about $300,000 that we spend at South County for athletics, and that's between the Booster Club and our ticket sales is our only generating budget for sports, so equipment, uniforms, different trips, and so forth. That we provide for the kids. So we welcome your help. They're a great group. It's not intimidating. We will find a role and responsibility for you and get you involved. So parents, just email me. Again, we'd love to have you. I'd love to work with you. So let me know if you'd like to be a part. So last but not least, before I dismiss you guys from to the head coaches breakout sessions, we got about 5 minutes left. I'm curious, does anybody have any other questions that could help them prepare them for tryouts? Again, really things that might be general to all programs. You'll get much more specific information from your coaches when you break out into their sessions. And at this time, feel free to, if you'd like to ask your question verbally, do so. If not, just put it in the chat. I'm gonna hang around for about 5 more minutes. And then I'm going to get going because I got to head out to Boys Across in their playoff game tonight. Yes, and just to clarify, there is not a breakout room for dance tonight. Our dance coach got pulled away. She recently just became an athletic trainer actually in the county, and so she was unable to come due to having to help out at a school. But she has all of the contact information of those who signed up for dance, and she'll be meeting with the dance community in the near future to get you kind of prepped up and ready for the fall. And just a piece of advice for any students who are on here, but even parents, communication with the coaches is very key. And the best way to communicate with them is via email. I have all of their emails on the athletic website, stallionnation.com. Please email them if something comes up, if you are going to miss a tryout, if you have a question, especially specific to the programs, I just would encourage you to get that information from the coaches. And so just email them. They'll create distribution lists, and a lot of them put out weekly information if it's summer workouts, preparation, all kinds of things. So I would just encourage you to introduce yourself and email them. I got a question. What are tryouts? Do coaches see if you are fit for the sport, or do students check whether they want to do the sport? That's a great question. So tryouts are really up to the students and what they're interested in, what sports. Coaches are looking for skill specific attributes of players that fit, I'll tell you a sport like cross country. Cross country takes all students, anybody that's interested. There's no cuts in cross country. Football, there are no cuts in football. Field hockey, unfortunately, there are cuts, but we are always trying to grow field hockey. We can always use more girls. So that's a sport that does have cuts, but we haven't had cuts in field hockey in quite some time. Volleyball is another very successful and competitive sport at South County. They may have cuts based on the amount of turnout for volleyball. So they are looking for students that have some skills for the sports. But again, as freshmen, there's a lot of development. So coaches are looking for kind of the whole picture, and also character, attitude, work ethic, and things, so forth. So hopefully I answered that question, Seville. Awesome. Yeah, and like I said, take a leap. And if you're nervous, I'd rather you try out. And again, we are about development as well. So we love to have you guys come out for whatever sports you're interested in. We do a lot of our programs. We'll do summer workouts. You'll receive information about that tonight. Almost all of them, except for probably dance, do workouts prior to tryouts. So again, those are great questions for your coaches. They create a schedule. They're open to anybody. So summer workouts, we don't deny anybody the opportunity to come to summer workouts, and we do teach and reinforce skills at those times. There's also a lot of lifting and conditioning that goes in preparation to the fall season. So yeah, so summer workouts, we call them Green Days in Fairfax County. They're open to any student that wants to come and experience that program. Again, they're about skill development and preparation for the upcoming year. So we will have summer workouts. Again, the head coaches are going to know their schedules the best. So just reach out to them either via email, or you should hear from them tonight about that. All right. Well, we're getting to 6:30, and I know our coach is going to be waiting for you. I'm going to post again in the chat. Here are the breakout rooms. There's links. If you just click the Google Doc and then click the link of the specific breakout room. I hope you enjoy your time. I look forward to having you out. South County has got a great reputation for sports, and we want to keep that. And we're really excited for our younger group that's coming up for great things from the middle school. So I look forward to meeting all of you, and I hope you have a great night.